Lieutenant James Cooper stared at his computer screen and tried not to panic. In 6 hours, the most feared warriors in the known galaxy would board the U.S. Endeavour, and he still hadn't finished setting up their entertainment database. The Titans weren't just any aliens. They were 8-foot-tall beings covered in natural armor plates, with a military society that made ancient Sparta look relaxed. "Hey Cooper, how's the cultural exchange prep going?" asked Commander Ashley Wilson as she walked into the communications room. Her footsteps echoed on the metal floor, making Cooper jump in his seat. "Almost done, Commander," he said, quickly minimizing his personal media folder. "Just uploading the last batch of approved cultural materials." The commander nodded and leaned against his desk. "Remember, we need to show them the best of humanity. The Titans are particular about what they consider worthy entertainment." Cooper wiped sweat from his forehead. The air conditioning was working fine. It was just the stress. One wrong move in this cultural exchange could start an interstellar incident. The Titans controlled 3 solar systems and had a battle fleet that could turn Earth into space dust. As soon as Commander Wilson left, Cooper returned to his work. He had to sort through thousands of files. Documentaries about Earth's military history, recordings of formal diplomatic meetings, and approved cultural materials. His eyes burned from staring at the screen for 12 hours straight. "Just need to move these last folders," he mumbled to himself, dragging and dropping files. His hand slipped on the mouse, and he accidentally grabbed his personal entertainment folder along with the approved materials. Before he could stop it, the entire folder, including all 7 seasons of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, uploaded to the Titan Cultural Database. No. Cooper tried to remove the files, but the system had already locked. Once uploaded, nothing could be deleted without approval from both human and Titan leadership. "Maybe they won't notice," he told himself. "They're warriors. They probably won't even look at the entertainment section." 3 hours later, the Titan diplomatic vessel appeared next to the Endeavour. It was massive, 4 times the size of the human ship, and covered in weapons that could vaporize a small country. Cooper watched from the observation deck as their shuttle approached. The first Titan to step through the airlock was Ambassador Maximus. Despite the ambassador title, he wore full battle armor and carried enough weapons to supply a small army. His armor plates were deep purple, marking him as a high-ranking official. "Welcome aboard the U.S. Endeavour," said Captain Michael Reynolds, stepping forward with his hand extended in greeting. The Titan ambassador looked at the hand, then performed the traditional Titan salute, slamming his fist against his chest plate hard enough to dent normal metal. "We are honored to begin this cultural exchange," Ambassador Maximus said in perfect English. His voice was so deep it made the deck plates vibrate. "My warriors are particularly interested in studying human military traditions and training methods." Cooper, standing at the back of the welcoming committee, felt his stomach twist. All he could think about was Jake Peralta's dance moves sitting in that database, waiting to be discovered by the galaxy's most serious warriors. The welcoming ceremony went smoothly. The Titans were led to their quarters, specially reinforced rooms designed to hold their weight and size. Cooper breathed a sigh of relief when his shift ended. Maybe everything would be fine. That night, as Cooper lay in his bunk trying to sleep, his computer pinged. Someone was accessing the cultural database. He pulled up the access logs, and his blood ran cold. 6 Titan warriors had begun watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine. All of them started with Season 1, Episode 1. None of them had stopped watching for the past 2 hours. Cooper stared at the ceiling, wondering if he'd just started an interstellar incident or possibly changed alien-human relations forever. Either way, he was pretty sure this wasn't how first contact was supposed to go. In the Titan quarters, the sound of deep, rumbling laughter echoed through the reinforced walls, though no human crew member was brave enough to investigate why. Commander Ashley Wilson knew something was wrong when she saw the empty Titan training room. For 3 days straight, none of the alien warriors had shown up for their scheduled combat exercises with the human security team. This had never happened before. Titans were famous for their strict training routines. "Computer, locate Titan life signs," she ordered, walking briskly through the ship's corridors. The computer's response made her stop in her tracks. "All 12 Titan delegates are in their quarters, Commander. They have not left for 72 hours. Wilson frowned. "Are they sick?" She'd never heard of Titans getting ill, but there was a first time for everything. If the aliens had caught some human disease, it could cause a diplomatic disaster. She pressed the comm button on her wrist device. "Lieutenant Cooper, meet me at the Titan quarters. Bring a medical officer." Cooper arrived looking pale and nervous, with Dr. Thomas right behind him. The doctor carried a medical scanner, though nobody knew if it would work on Titan biology. Wilson pressed the door chime. No response. She pressed it again. "Quiet," boomed a voice from inside. "We are ATDD HEYSTEPISODE. Wilson, Cooper, and Dr. Thomas looked at each other in confusion. The commander overrode the door lock with her security code, and the door slid open. The sight inside left them speechless. All 12 Titans, still in their battle armor, were crowded around viewing screens. Their weapons lay forgotten in a corner. Empty food containers littered the floor. They'd been ordering continuous meals from the ship's food synthesizers. Ambassador Maximus sat in the center, leaning forward with intense focus. On his screen, Jake Peralta was explaining his latest Halloween heist plan to the 9-9 team. "This is brilliant tactical thinking," Maximus muttered, taking notes on a datapad. "Using humor to disguise true intentions, making allies lower their guard. Humans are military geniuses." Another Titan warrior raised his hand without looking away from the screen. "Ambassador, can we implement a Halloween heist in our military training programs?" "After we finish Season 3, Maximus replied. "I need to study all their strategies first." Commander Wilson cleared her throat. 12 heads turned toward her, and for the first time ever, she saw Titans looking embarrassed. "Is everything okay in here?" she asked. Ambassador Maximus stood up, his head almost touching the ceiling. "Commander Wilson, we apologize for missing the training sessions. We have discovered something extraordinary in your cultural database." "Brooklyn 99, Cooper whispered, looking like he wanted to disappear. "Yes." Maximus's eyes lit up. "These human warriors, these detectives, they maintain perfect combat efficiency while engaging in elaborate social rituals and humor displays. It's revolutionary." Wilson shot a look at Cooper, who seemed very interested in studying his shoes. "You like the show?" Dr. Thomas asked carefully. "Like it?" A female Titan warrior stood up, her armor clanking. "It's the most important tactical discovery we've made in centuries. Look how they build unit cohesion through these pranks and jokes. And this Captain Holt, his deadpan delivery is a masterpiece of psychological warfare." Wilson watched in amazement as the Titans began enthusiastically discussing their favorite episodes. One warrior was practicing saying "cool, cool, cool, cool" in his deep, rumbling voice. Another had somehow made a badge that said 9-9 in Titan script. "Lieutenant Cooper," Wilson said quietly, "did you happen to upload this show to their database?" Cooper nodded miserably. "It was an accident, Commander. I'll accept any punishment." "Punishment?" Ambassador Maximus interrupted. "This human deserves a medal. Thanks to him, we're completely re-evaluating our approach to unit morale and team building." Wilson looked at the room full of warrior aliens passionately debating whether Cheddar the dog was the ultimate infiltration specialist, and made a decision. "Carry on, Ambassador," she said. "Just maybe take a break every few episodes, for diplomatic purposes." "Of course, Commander," Maximus replied seriously. "We'll pause for meals and combat practice, right after we find out who wins this Halloween heist." As the door closed behind them, Wilson turned to Cooper. "Well, Lieutenant, it seems you've accidentally created the most successful diplomatic breakthrough in human history." Cooper finally smiled. "Cool, cool, 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 cool. Captain Michael Reynolds rubbed his temples as he read the latest diplomatic message from the Titan High Command. Something was very wrong with their usual formal writing style. To the U.S. Endeavour crew, cool, 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 cool. We are writing to discuss the upcoming military exercises. They are going to be nice. Sincerely, Supreme Commander of the Titan Fleet. P.S. Title of your sex state. Sir. Lieutenant Cooper stood nervously in the captain's office. Is everything okay? Reynolds handed him the tablet. Did you know the Titans have started adding Brooklyn Nine-Nine quotes to official military communications? Before Cooper could answer, Commander Wilson burst into the office. Captain, we have a situation in Training Room 3. 3 minutes later, Reynolds stood watching through the observation window as 8-foot-tall Titan warriors attempted to recreate the Nine-Nine's Halloween heist. Ambassador Maximus wore a fake mustache that looked tiny on his massive face, and he had somehow convinced the ship's computer to play the show's theme song on repeat. The cummerbund will be mine this year, Maximus shouted, his voice shaking dust from the ceiling. You mean this cummerbund? Another Titan warrior emerged from a ventilation shaft that definitely wasn't meant to hold her weight. She held up a golden belt sized for a Titan. Hot Dan. Everyone in the room shouted, making the observation window rattle. How long has this been going on? Reynolds asked. 4 hours, Wilson replied. They've already broken 3 doors trying to create elaborate heist schemes. But sir, that's not the weird part. There's a weirder part. Wilson nodded. Their combat efficiency has improved by 40%. They say it's because they're channeling their inner Jake Peralta. Through the window, they watched as 2 Titan warriors practiced their detective walk. The floor shook with each step. Sir, a communications officer ran up, looking worried. We're getting reports from other ships. The Titans are spreading the show through their fleet. Reynolds looked at the report. On 5 different Titan warships, warriors had started calling their weapon rooms the evidence locker and referring to their commanders as Captain Dad. One battlecruiser had renamed itself the US 99. Captain, Cooper said, checking his tablet. The Titan Admiral is requesting permission to board. He says he needs to discuss human workplace dynamics. Reynolds straightened his uniform. Well, let's not keep him waiting. The Admiral arrived in a shuttle decorated with what looked suspiciously like Terry Crews muscles painted on the side. When he stepped onto the Endeavour, everyone stared at his usually ceremonial armor. He had painted it to look like a police uniform, complete with a badge. 9-9. He bellowed in greeting, raising his massive arms. Reynolds looked helplessly at his crew. To his horror, Commander Wilson stepped forward. 9-9, she shouted back. The Admiral's face lit up. Finally, someone who understands proper military protocol. He turned to Captain Reynolds. Captain, your species has achieved something remarkable. We've been watching your Brooklyn Nine-Nine documentary series. Documentary, Reynolds squeaked. And it has revolutionized our understanding of command structure. Did you know we never considered using yogurt as a morale booster, or that we could solve crimes while doing dance competitions? Reynolds saw Cooper trying to hide behind Commander Wilson. Sir, I should explain. Brooklyn Nine-Nine isn't exactly the Halloween heist, the Admiral interrupted. Pure genius. Making your warriors compete for meaningless trophies to sharpen their tactical skills. We're implementing it across the fleet. Reynolds opened his mouth, closed it, then decided some battles weren't worth fighting. We're honored that you found our cultural exchange so valuable. Indeed. The Admiral pulled out a tablet the size of a door. Now, I have some questions about this Jimmy Jab games. Would it work with plasma rifles? As Reynolds led the Admiral away to discuss the safe implementation of workplace competitions in a military setting, Cooper turned to Commander Wilson. Should we tell them it's just a TV show? Wilson watched as a group of Titan warriors practiced their Holt face in a hallway mirror. I think we're way past that point, Lieutenant. Way past that point. Lieutenant Rebecca Thompson never expected to give a lecture on the meaning of title of your sex tape jokes to 30 heavily armed alien warriors. Yet here she was, standing in the U.S. Endeavor's largest conference room, using a slideshow to explain human humor to the most feared military force in the galaxy. "So you see," she said, pointing to her presentation, "when Jake says, 'That's going to be a mess,' and then says, 'Title of your sex tape,' he's using self-deprecating humor." "But what is the strategic value?" interrupted a Titan officer, his armor painted to look like Jake's leather jacket. "How does it defeat enemies?" Thompson sighed. This was her fourth explanation session today. It's not about defeating enemies. It's about building friendships and trust through humor. The Titans furiously took notes on their massive tablets. One raised his hand, accidentally punching a hole in the ceiling. "Question," he rumbled. "When Captain Holt says, 'bone,' and repeats it with increasing intensity, is this a sacred human battle cry?" Before Thompson could answer, her tablet buzzed with an urgent message. The Titan battlecruiser 999 was requesting emergency cultural consultation. Apparently, their entire bridge crew had started ending every command with smort and noise, and nobody could stop. "Lieutenant," Cooper ran into the room, out of breath. "We've got a situation. The Titans are sending Brooklyn 99 to their other alien allies." Thompson felt a headache coming on. "How bad is it?" "The Centaurians have declared Jake and Amy's relationship the perfect example of military courtship and are rewriting their marriage laws. The Proxima Coalition thinks Scully and Hitchcock are ancient Earth wisdom masters, and the Andromeda Empire." Cooper paused, looking pained. "They want to make Cheddar their new emperor." The Titans in the room nodded approvingly. "The dog shows great tactical wisdom," one said solemnly. Thompson's tablet kept buzzing with new messages. The Titan High Command had ordered all officers to practice their Holt voice. 3 Titan science vessels had changed their names to Terry Loves Yogurt 1, 2, and 3. A Titan battle group was demanding Earth's recipe for orange soda. "That's not even the worst part," Cooper said. "Remember how the Titans are spreading the show? Well, they're adding their own commentary to explain Earth customs. Now half the galaxy thinks humans decide promotions through elaborate heist competitions." Just then, Commander Wilson's voice came over the ship's comm system. "Lieutenant Thompson to the bridge. The Titan Admiral needs help understanding why humans say 'cool' 4 times instead of just once." Thompson gathered her teaching materials, including her newly made guide to understanding die-hard references. As she walked to the door, she heard the Titans behind her practicing. "Cool, cool, cool, cool. No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. Bone." On her way to the bridge, Thompson passed the ship's gym. Inside, massive Titan warriors were trying to copy Terry Crew's workout routine. They had already bent most of the equipment. One warrior was crying over a cup of tiny Earth yogurt, calling it the sacred food of strength. The ship's cafeteria had been renamed Shaw's Bar, even though it served no alcohol. The Titan cook had spent 3 days trying to recreate the perfect marshmallow sandwich after watching the episode where Jake survives on them. When Thompson reached the bridge, she found the Admiral watching the show on the main view screen. He had somehow acquired a fake badge and was practicing holding it up dramatically. "Lieutenant," he boomed, "explain this pizza missile concept. Is it a special Earth weapon?" Thompson looked at Captain Reynolds for help, but he just shrugged. The captain had given up trying to explain things 3 days ago, around the time the Titans had started their own podcast about the show. "Sir," Thompson said carefully, "perhaps we should discuss the difference between television shows and real life." "Excellent idea," the Admiral interrupted. "We should watch more shows to better understand Earth's military culture. What is this Parks and Recreation in the database?" Thompson and Cooper shared a panicked look. They had created one cultural crisis. They weren't ready for another. But it was too late. The Admiral was already sending orders to the fleet. All warriors must study Human Parks Department tactical operations immediately. Title of your sex tape. 99. Frank Martinez had dealt with many tough situations in his 15 years as a diplomatic officer, but nothing had prepared him for an angry Titan admiral slamming his fist on the conference table hard enough to crack it. "Wait, do you mean it is TANCELOET?" the admiral roared. Martinez looked desperately at Captain Reynolds for help. They had tried to keep the truth about Brooklyn Nine-Nine's TV status secret, but someone had accidentally mentioned its cancellation to the Titans. "It's a normal thing that happens with TV shows," Martinez explained carefully. "Sometimes they end." "End?" Ambassador Maximus jumped up, his armor clanking. "This is the greatest tactical documentary series in the galaxy. It teaches leadership, teamwork, and proper use of the word noise. How could humans end it?" The room full of Titan officers began muttering angrily. One of them was already typing on his tablet, and Martinez saw with horror that he was sending messages to the Titan battle fleet. "Now let's stay calm," Captain Reynolds said, just as every emergency light on the ship started flashing red. "Captain," Lieutenant Cooper's voice came over the comm. 30 Titan warships just changed course. They're heading straight for Earth." The admiral stood up, his head brushing the ceiling. "If Earth does not understand the value of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, we will make them understand. We will save this precious cultural artifact." Martinez stepped forward. "Sir, please, you can't invade Earth over a TV show." "Watch me," the admiral said. "Title of your sex tape." Captain Reynolds groaned. Martinez quickly pulled up some files on his tablet. "What if I told you the show wasn't actually canceled?" he said quickly. "It was saved by another network." The admiral froze. "Explain." Martinez showed them articles about how NBC had picked up the show after Fox canceled it. "See," the show continued. "It had a proper ending. Everything worked out." The Titan officers huddled together, discussing this new information in loud whispers that shook the room's windows. "But why?" Ambassador Maximus asked. "Hasn't Earth submitted this masterpiece for consideration as supreme cultural achievement of the galaxy?" Martinez blinked. "I'm sorry. What?" "The Supreme Cultural Achievement Award, given every 1,000 years to the most important piece of art in the galaxy." The ambassador's eyes narrowed. "Unless Earth doesn't think Brooklyn Nine-Nine is worthy." New alarms started blaring. More Titan ships were jumping into the system. "Of course we think it's worthy," Martinez said quickly. "We just didn't know about the award. Earth is new to galactic society, remember?" The admiral stroked his chin. "This is true. You are like Boyle in the first episodes, eager but uninformed." "Yes, exactly." Martinez had no idea what that meant, but the Titans were nodding. "Then we will submit it for you," the ambassador declared. "As your allies, it is our duty. Like when Jake helped Charles with his food blog." Martinez saw Captain Reynolds' mouth just go with it, and nodded. "That would be noise. Noise." The room of Titans bellowed back. As the Titan officers excitedly began filling out award submission forms on their tablets, Martinez pulled Cooper aside. "Please tell me you didn't upload any other TV shows to their database," he whispered. Cooper looked nervous. "Well, about that, remember how the admiral asked about parks and recreation?" Martinez felt his blood run cold. "No. They're already through season 1. The ambassador has started calling himself a proud, beautiful space swan, and 3 Titan ships have requested to be renamed Entertainment 720. In the corner, a Titan warrior was practicing saying, "Treat yourself," while another was trying to grow a Ron Swanson mustache. Martinez watched as the admiral drafted a message to Earth, demanding they explain why Lil Sebastian didn't receive a state funeral. Some battles, he decided, just weren't worth fighting. "At least they haven't discovered the office yet," Cooper said. The admiral's head snapped up. "The what?" Martinez grabbed Cooper's arm. "Run." Commander David Anderson stood in front of the observation window, watching something he never thought he'd see: a Titan warrior crying while eating yogurt. "It's just The massive alien sobbed, spooning tiny bites of strawberry yogurt into his mouth. Captain Holt and Kevin care about each other so much, and they express it through simple word puzzles. Anderson patted the warrior's armored shoulder, careful to avoid the spikes. After 6 weeks of non-stop Brooklyn Nine-Nine viewing, the Titans were starting to understand the deeper messages of the show. In the corner of the room, Ambassador Maximus was holding a meeting with his officers. They had removed their ceremonial skull decorations and replaced them with pictures of Cheddar the dog. "Our military training has focused too much on combat," Maximus said, drawing on a giant whiteboard. "We need more teamwork exercises, more friendship building, more," he wrote in huge letters, "9-9 spirit." "But sir," asked a younger officer, "how will this make us better warriors?" Maximus played a clip on the big screen, the one where the 9-9 team comes together to help Terry pass his lieutenant's exam. "Look at their efficiency," he said. "They joke, they play, they seem soft. But when one of them needs help, they are stronger than any battle fleet. This is what we must learn." Anderson watched as the Titans took notes. In the past week, they had made surprising changes to their military structure. They had added mandatory break rooms with vending machines to all their ships. They had started having regular movie nights. One battlecruiser had even started a dance competition team. "Commander," Lieutenant Cooper ran into the room, almost crashing into a Titan who was practicing his Jake Peralta swagger. "Sir, you need to see this." Anderson followed Cooper to the ship's main communication room. On the screens, he saw dozens of reports from across the Titan fleet. Their warships were reporting higher crew morale, better teamwork, and improved problem-solving. "They're using Brooklyn Nine-Nine techniques in real missions," Cooper explained, pulling up a video. The video showed a Titan patrol ship facing off against space pirates. Instead of their usual aggressive approach, the Titans had used what they called the Peralta method, a mix of clever tricks and teamwork. They had caught the pirates while causing 0 damage and no casualties. "Look at this one," Cooper said, showing another report. A Titan science vessel had solved a diplomatic crisis with a new alien species by hosting a Halloween heist competition. The aliens had been so amused, they signed a peace treaty on the spot. Back in the observation room, Anderson found Ambassador Maximus trying to teach his warriors about emotions. "When Terry cries about his children," Maximus explained, "it shows his strength, not weakness. From now on, crying while eating yogurt is acceptable warrior behavior." "What about when Rosa shows her soft side?" asked a warrior. "Also acceptable." Maximus nodded. "But only once per solar cycle, and you must immediately return to being scary afterward." Anderson smiled as he watched the Titans practice showing emotion. One warrior was sharing pictures of his pet space lizard, while others gathered around making awe sounds that shook the walls. "Commander," Cooper whispered, "did we accidentally make the galaxy's most feared warriors nicer?" Before Anderson could answer, alarms started blaring. A junior officer rushed in. "Sir, the Titan High Command has issued new orders. All ships must now have." He checked his tablet. Mandatory Terry Jeffords Appreciation Day. Maximus stood up excitedly. "Excellent. We shall honor him with mountains of yogurt and 1 billion push-ups." "And sir," the officer continued, "they're requiring all command staff to take improv classes." Anderson watched as the room full of Titans cheered and started practicing their yes and exercises. One warrior was already setting up a fantasy wedding board for 2 officers who clearly liked each other but wouldn't admit it. "You know what, Cooper?" Anderson said as a group of Titans started their daily 9-9 chant. "I think we did, and the galaxy might be better for it." In the background, a warrior raised his massive hand. "Question: can we add a Jimmy Jab games to our annual military exercises?" Maximus thought for a moment. "Yes, but no one is allowed to eat old Chinese food this time. Last year's incident with the space rats was..." Unfortunate. Officer Jennifer Parker walked into the New York Police Department's 82nd Precinct and stopped in her tracks. 8-foot-tall Titan warriors in full battle armor were trying to recreate the Brooklyn Nine-Nine opening credits. One of them had accidentally crushed a desk while doing Jake's chair slide. "Officer Parker," Captain Reynolds called from across the room. "Your new partners are here." The Titans turned and performed a perfect synchronized 9-9 salute that broke every window in the building. Parker had volunteered for the first-ever Human-Titan police exchange program. She hadn't expected it to be quite so enthusiastic. "I am Officer Brunek," said the largest Titan, his armor painted to match an NYPD uniform. "I have watched all episodes 17 times. I am ready to solve crime with humor and style." Behind him, another Titan was practicing holding up a badge while saying punk in different tones of voice. A third was setting up a yogurt station in the break room. "We brought props," Brunek said excitedly, opening a massive crate. Inside were perfect Titan-sized replicas of items from the show. A Halloween heist trophy, Charles' food blog camera, and even a stuffed cheddar. "That's great," Parker said, watching as a Titan tried to sit at a human-sized desk and broke 3 chairs. "Maybe we should start with basic police work." "Yes, like Jake and Amy's bet about arrests." Brunek pulled out a whiteboard. "I have already prepared the stakes. Loser must clean winner's battle armor for 1 Earth year." Parker looked at Captain Reynolds for help, but he just shrugged. The NYPD had given up trying to explain things after the Titans had installed vending machines that only dispensed orange soda and marshmallows. Their first case came in quickly, a series of convenience store robberies. Parker watched in amazement as Brunek approached it with surprising skill. He combined actual police work with what he called the 9-9 method. "The suspect always strikes at night," Brunek said, putting together an evidence board. "Classic Pontiac bandit move, except Doug Judy had style. This guy." He shook his head. "Not Noyce." The Titan detective team set up surveillance, making sure to include elaborate undercover disguises, though an 8-foot alien warrior in a fake mustache wasn't exactly subtle, and constant radio chatter filled with show quotes. To everyone's surprise, it worked. They caught the robber within 2 days. Brunek even managed to make a Jake-style pun during the arrest, though his booming voice set off every car alarm on the block. Word spread quickly about the success. Soon, other precincts were requesting their own Titan officers. The Titans, for their part, were sending excited reports back to their fleet about real Earth police work. "They're actually really good at this," Parker told Reynolds as they watched a Titan officer comfort a lost child while his partner got the kid's favorite ice cream flavor. "They've just added their own style." "Speaking of style," Reynolds said, "have you seen what they did to the evidence locker?" Parker went to check. The Titans had reorganized everything using a system they called the Boyle method. It was incredibly efficient, even if every label included at least one food metaphor. The biggest surprise came during their first department meeting. The Titans had prepared a presentation about their progress, complete with graphs, statistics, and an interpretive dance number about proper police procedure. "As you can see," Brunek said, pointing to a chart with his massive hand, "our arrest rates are up 200%. Our community relations have improved by 300%, and our Halloween heist planning is infinity% better." "That's not a real statistic," Parker whispered. "Title of your sex tape." All the Titans shouted at once, causing several ceiling tiles to fall. As Parker watched her new partners set up for their weekly movie night, they were determined to introduce the entire precinct to Die Hard. She realized something strange. It was working. The Titans' enthusiasm had somehow made everyone better at their jobs while having more fun doing it. "Officer Parker," Brunek called out, "we're starting a Jimmy Jab Games tournament between precincts. Will you be on my team? I have already practiced eating old hot dogs." Parker looked at the eager faces of her alien colleagues, Then at the precinct that now somehow included both serious police work and daily dance breaks. 9-9, she shouted back. The Titan's cheer of joy cracked every computer screen in the building, but nobody seemed to mind anymore. Captain Jessica Howard stood at attention as the massive doors of the new Titan Human Diplomatic Station opened for the first time. The station was beautiful, even if the Titans had insisted on naming every floor after a Brooklyn Nine-Nine character. "Welcome to New York 9-9, Ambassador Maximus announced proudly. The first joint space station between humans and Titans. Howard looked around the main hall. The Titans had somehow perfectly balanced their military efficiency with what they now called 9-9 style. The security stations had both advanced alien scanning technology and bowls of orange soda. The meeting rooms were equipped with tactical displays and mandatory gaming areas for Halloween heists. "Captain," Lieutenant Cooper whispered, "the Titan Academy graduation ceremony is about to start." They're broadcasting it across the whole station. On the main screen, hundreds of young Titan warriors stood in formation. Their armor shone in the light of 3 suns. The Academy's new motto hung above them in giant letters. 9-9. The Supreme Commander of the Titan Fleet stepped up to speak. He was wearing his formal armor, which now included a replica police badge and a tiny plastic cheddar on the shoulder. "Warriors of the 9-9 Academy," he began, his voice booming through the station. "Today you join a proud tradition. A tradition that combines our ancient warrior ways with the wisdom of Earth's greatest tactical genius." He paused dramatically. Jake Peralta. The graduating class raised their weapons in salute, shouting, "Cool, cool, 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 cool," with enough force to shake the station. "You have learned the ancient arts of combat," the commander continued. "But more importantly, you have learned to dance, to joke, to eat yogurt, and to support your fellow warriors with friendship and terrible puns." In the front row, a young Titan warrior was crying while eating yogurt. Nobody told him to stop. The ceremony continued with what the Titans now considered essential graduation traditions: a Halloween heist, which the instructors always mysteriously lost, a Jimmy Jab Games tournament, and a formal reading from Charles Boyle's food blog. "Can you believe this all started with one accidental file upload?" Cooper asked Howard, watching as the new graduates practiced their strong warrior poses, while also trying to copy Jake's swagger. Before Howard could answer, alarms started blaring. A new alien ship was approaching the station. The Titans rushed to their stations, but instead of their old battle cries, they shouted 9-9. As they ran, the alien ship turned out to be peaceful, a delegation from a newly discovered species requesting to join the Galactic Federation. The Titans, naturally, insisted on handling first contact their way. "Welcome to space," Ambassador Maximus told the confused aliens. "Before we discuss politics, you must understand Earth culture. We will start with Season 1, Episode 1 of a very important documentary." 6 hours later, the new aliens were already practicing saying "noise" and asking about Halloween heist rules. At the end of the day, Howard stood with Cooper, watching the station's first sunset through the massive windows. Below them, in the main hall, Titans and humans were having their weekly 9-9 night, complete with costume contests and dramatic readings of Captain Holt's most emotional sentences. "You know what's really amazing?" Howard said. "They actually understood the show better than we expected. They saw past the jokes to the real message, about friendship, teamwork, and being yourself." Cooper nodded. "Though they still think all human workplaces are exactly like this." The Titan ambassador was very disappointed when he visited a real police station and nobody was planning an elaborate heist. Just then, a group of new Titan graduates marched past, practicing their serious detective face, while also trying to slide across the floor in office chairs. They had modified their ceremonial war chants into the show's theme song. 9-9, they shouted as they passed. Howard and Cooper looked at each other and smiled. 9-9, they shouted back. In the distance, someone started playing the show's theme song over the station's speakers. A Titan warrior began crying over his yogurt. Another was explaining the importance of Die Hard to the new alien species. And somewhere in the station's massive database, 8 seasons of a simple TV show about a Brooklyn police precinct continue to change the galaxy, one cool at a time.